Hey everybody, wake up. This is Wake Up with Mark Joyner, episode number 123. And today we will talk about the suicide of Randy Constant. All right, so Randy Constant was this Iowa farmer. He ran a brokerage house that was dealing primarily in corn and soybeans that were labeled as certified organic. Now, first off, what can we know and what can we not know about this? Well, in the era of Jeffrey Epstein, do we really know that this guy killed himself? It's funny, I shouldn't joke about suicide at all, or it's a tragic thing, no matter who it is or no matter what the situation. I'm not one of these people who will go out and celebrate the execution of someone or anything like that. It's a tragic part of life, but it is part of life that we all must embrace. But I was joking the other day that Epstein is the one conspiracy theory we can all agree on. I don't think anybody believes the guy killed himself. The problem is just don't discuss who killed him, right? Or who's responsible, and we'll all be fine. Because the anti-Trump folks are going to say it was Trump and Putin, somehow. And then the pro-Trump folks are going to come up with their theories. Who knows what actually happened, right? Nobody knows. And in the case of Randy Constant, we don't know exactly what happened. I mean, it was reported that he asphyxiated himself in his car after he was sentenced to go to prison for selling fake certified organic goods. Now, can we know, what this guy really did to himself? We can't know that. We can't know the full circumstances of this. We can only know what is reported to us, and this is actually quite relevant for the point I want to get to here. What is reported to us these days, I believe, is deeply, deeply suspect. I think that most people these days seem to be questioning what they are being told. What news source do you trust? What is their agenda? What kind of spin are they throwing on the information? Because most of the information that is being presented to us is in fact being presented with a tremendous amount of spin. Far more spin than I think people should tolerate. People lack the basic education in being able to understand what clear thinking is and what actual, factual reporting is, to be able to distinguish the difference between, emotionalized, pre-framed information that is designed to make us think a certain thing, as opposed to someone coming out and matter-of-factly reporting the facts. Now, it's probably impossible to be completely impartial, to have a completely objective lens. I don't think objective news is possible. I don't think objective history is possible. But I think that we have gone way too far over in the wrong direction, where what people are doing is they're just emotionalizing stuff purely for the sake of sensationalism, purely to get us to think a particular thing. And it's not even masquerading as news anymore. Well, I mean, it has the label of news, but the code of journalistic ethics is pretty much out the window at this point, if you look at the state of most journalism these days. Anyway, one thing that we can know is this: the Food and Drug Administration itself is reporting that he was, over the course of several years, selling soybean and corn that was raised using pesticides, possibly even GMOs, who knows, but we know for a fact there were pesticides involved there. He was not following the certified organic guidelines. Now, here's what's really clear about this to me, and this is what raises the larger question that I think we all need to consider. So while Randy Constant was punished for doing this, why is no one inside the Food and Drug Administration being charged with allowing this to happen for several years? If we're going to go out and we're going to charge more for certified organic products, and by the way, you have to understand that there's a distinction here. A lot of farmers won't go through the certified organic process because it is very costly. So in the United States, there are people who say, hey, it's natural, it's naturally raised, meaning here are the standards that we follow. We refuse to be held hostage by the US government, who is trying to extort us, more or less, to be a part of their scheme. This scheme that we now know is quite possibly quite faulty. How is it possible it went on for years? Now, let me show you the ripple effects of this. So, if you buy an organic chicken, certified organic chicken, that was fed this certified organic grain, well, now you don't know what the effects were on your chicken. If you believe that you should not be eating things that have pesticides on them, or if you should not be eating animals that were raised on GMO food, and that's certainly something I endeavor to do in my life. If you are buying stuff that is certified organic in the United States, you should question that now. You should question that. And the irony is that when they were sentencing Mr. Constant, they were talking about the incalculable damage that he did to the public trust in the certified organic scheme. No, guys, he didn't do that. You did it. You did it with your bullshit scheme. Okay? So, this is why, guys, if you have not gone down the rabbit hole of what you are putting on and in your body, then you are not taking it seriously. I think you are making a grave mistake. That is my opinion. A lot of people think I am extreme in the way I view this. I don't believe it's extreme at all. I think it's sanity in an insane world. If we can't even trust that the stuff that is being billed to us as certified organic is actually following the practices that the government certifies is acceptable. Well, what else are you putting in your body? When you put a perfume on your body or a cologne on your body, and they don't even list the ingredients on it, what the hell is in there? And in the rare cases where they do list the ingredients on some of these cosmetics, you don't understand most of the ingredients. You don't understand most of the ingredients. So this is why I try to buy packaged things as little as possible. I try to deal with natural ingredients as much as possible. When I was living in Manila, for example, I went out and I actually made a point of meeting the farmers, the people who owned the organic farms from which I was acquiring my food. Now, there were times where I would go out to the health food store and buy things that were packaged. Over time, I have done that less and less and less. I want to see where the food I'm buying is coming from. Now, right now in Thailand, I don't have a source for organic grass-fed beef, which is what I eat on the current diet that I'm on. So I have to rely on the New Zealand certification system. I buy New Zealand grass-fed beef. Now, I know by law that in New Zealand, the beef has to be grass-fed and finished from birth to death, and that it has to be served grass that has not been sprayed with pesticides. That is by law in New Zealand. Now, how much trust can I put in that? How much? I don't know. I trust the New Zealand system a little bit more than I trust the U.S. system because the culture there takes that quite seriously. They take a tremendous amount of pride in their environmental awareness. And there are a lot of people who are very, very clued into these things. There are people who, I spoke to decades ago in New Zealand who were clued into these things long before I started to understand the importance of these matters. So I tend to trust that system a little bit better, but what can I do at this point? Well, in the United States, there is something that you can do that I have a higher degree of trust in. You can find a Weston A. Price Foundation certified outlet for your food. When I'm in the U.S., that is the only food I eat usually. Sometimes I will go to Whole Foods and buy like some organic salami or organic cheese if I'm having a healthy-ish cheat day. But I don't know. I don't know. As I start to see the writing on the wall a little bit more, I'm a little more hesitant to do even that. When we see all of these health maladies that are popping up around the world, yes, we are living longer, but it's interesting. If you've been noticing the curve, our life expectation has been increasing, but it's been starting to decrease. And the amount of disease that we're experiencing is increasing as well. So, what's more important, your overall life expectancy or that quality of life? If you are suffering from a chronic illness and you're living a long time, is that a life that you want to live? That's a questionable thing. And I believe that a lot of what we are seeing in terms of illness these days is deeply connected to the stuff we are putting on and in our bodies. So if you are not aware of this, if you are not conscious of this, if you are not considering the implications of this, good luck. Good luck. You are rolling the dice. You are playing a game with your own life. It's Russian roulette, and in my estimation, you're dealing with a mostly fully loaded gun when you're playing that game of Russian roulette. If you're one of these folks who just goes down and you buy, your Cheetos, your chips, or whatever packaged crap you're putting in your body, if the standard of certification for organic is suspect, how do we know that the stuff that you're putting in your body that is not certified organic, that even on the label says, it's got X, Y, and Z chemicals that you don't understand, that you don't know what the effects of them are? And by the way, a lot of these things have been labeled safe, but we don't know what the entourage effects are. We don't know what the long-term effects are. If you eat a full spectrum of these chemicals, how do you know what the effects are going to be in your body? If they say it's safe, they do this one tiny, very reductionist study that puts, a small amount of this chemical, in someone's body or in an animal's body. Well, okay, they may say that's safe, but what if you're eating, that and then, 50 or 60 other things, and you're putting that in all of that in your body? How do you know that the combined load is not going to overstress your system? I think it most clearly will. So if we can't, I'm digressing, but if we can't trust the certification system for organic foods, are you really going to trust the stuff that is labeled as not organic, that has all these chemicals? How do you know what else they're putting in there? You don't know. I would take your food sourcing very seriously. That's me. You make your own informed decision on this. But I think one way or the other, we pay the price for it. And this is why I am militant and extreme about what I put in my body. And you guys have a beautiful day.